The Browns find themselves with a talented overall roster but a crowded and complex quarterback room. In addition to Watson, the Browns currently have Joe Flacco, the seasoned gunslinger, Dillon Gabriel, the raw but intriguing rookie, and Shedeur Sanders, the electrifying prospect making headlines with jaw-dropping college highlights and sky-high potential. Shedeur has the son of the legendary Deion Sanders, has already turned heads with his cannon arm, sharp football IQ, and poise beyond his years. Analysts are already projecting him as a future starter, possibly sooner than expected. Still, he remains a rookie, and the Browns aren't in a rush to throw him into the fire just yet. The plan appears to be grooming him behind the scenes, while balancing a veteran-heavy QB room. And this is where things heat up. According to respected NFL insider Mike Florio, the Browns may be seriously considering trading Kenny Pickett, a stunning development that would shake the division. Pickett isn't just another clipboard holder, he's a starting caliber quarterback with valuable experience, and several teams would jump at the opportunity to bring him in. Florio's bold claim is rooted in the strategic logistics of roster management and the realities of the salary cap, often overlooked by fans, but absolutely vital in front offices. The current Browns QB chart reads Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dillon Gabriel, and let's be honest, carrying 4 quarterbacks on a 53-man roster is practically unheard of. Most franchises stick with 2, maybe 3. The 4th is often relegated to the practice squad, not the main roster. So the real question becomes, can the Browns afford to keep all 4 quarterbacks? And what does that mean for Kenny Pickett's future? In Florio and fellow analysts like Mary Kay Cabot from Cleveland.com suggest that while it's technically possible, due to low cap hits and manageable contracts, it's highly unlikely without further moves. Buckle those chin straps, because we're charging headfirst into some blazing hot news fresh from the Cleveland Browns training camp. Picture this: a 5th-round rookie quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, striding onto the gridiron at FirstEnergy Stadium on September 7th, 2025, locking eyes with the Bengals defense like he owns the arena. We're talking about a young gun with the swagger and skill to etch his name into NFL history as one of the rare few drafted in the 5th round or later to start in Week 1, something that hasn't happened since the disco era. No, what he's really confronting is the entrenched culture of the NFL, a system still baffled by a swagger it can't control. I've been paying close attention, and what Sanders is showcasing at minicamp, it's not just promising, it's elite-level execution. We're talking 41 completions on 51 attempts, 9 touchdowns, just a single interception, and an outrageous 77% completion rate over 5 open media sessions. That's not your average rookie showing. That's the type of performance that should have every NFL front office scrambling for film and reevaluating. Now here's the kicker. He was a 5th-round selection. Most analysts couldn't wait to brand him as arrogant, flashy, overconfident. Some even compared his arm strength to Drew Brees in his twilight years. But let's be real. If those exact numbers belonged to a 1st-rounder from Alabama or Ohio State, he'd already be hailed as the next franchise messiah. ESPN would be running highlight reels on loop. Yet with Shedeur, silence. Maybe a faint nod to his work ethic, before pivoting to Dillon Gabriel's progress or Joe Flacco's leadership. And that raises a serious question. Why the double standard? The answer is hiding in plain sight. His last name is Sanders. His father? That's Sanders Deion, primetime, the Hall of Famer who didn't just play the game, he reshaped it. Deion didn't just suit up, he shifted the cultural gravity of the NFL, infusing it with unapologetic confidence. And now, he's doing it again in Colorado, streaming, leading, confronting the entire collegiate system head-on. So naturally, when his son walks into Cleveland with that same steel-plated self-assurance, the league doesn't know how to react. They won't say it outright, but you can feel it. They'll compliment Shedeur's footwork, praise his film study, but the real reps, the first-team snaps, they're still locked behind glass like family heirlooms. Coaches are defaulting to safe bets, while Shedeur is left managing 2nd and 3rd-string rotations. And that leads to the real question. If Shedeur Sanders had a different last name, if he weren't the son of football's most polarizing icon, would the Browns already be shaping him into the franchise's future? The stats scream yes, the tape confirms it. Even Kevin Stefanski can't help but gush. But the depth chart? It still whispers not yet. The league, comfortable dragging its feet, but reckonings don't vanish. They build pressure until they break through. Every laser Shedeur launches in Berea inches us closer to that reckoning, where raw, undeniable talent collides with outdated narratives and institutional inertia. Let's break down those numbers. 77% completion in practice. Well, that's not just sharp. It's absurd. Training camp sessions are chaotic, receivers rotating, playbooks shifting, unpredictable scripts. Rookies usually hover near 60% while trying to process the language of the league. Veterans often miss more than fans realize. But Shedeur, he's not just surviving, he's commanding, and those 9 touchdowns, that's surgical work. These aren't checkdowns or gimmies. He's dropping red zone darts, threading 30-yard throws, lofting precision touch passes over defenders, multiple reads, complex concepts, elite-level ball placement. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel's hovering in the high 50s with 3 interceptions. Kenny Pickett playing it safe. Flacco, when the pocket collapses, so does he. Statistically, Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback on the field right now. So why isn't anyone saying it out loud? Because admitting it would mean confronting the fact that they got the draft narrative wrong. That all the critiques about anticipation or the gimmicky Colorado system were off base. And some people in this league, they're still not ready to admit that Deion Sanders might have been right. But here's the thing, numbers don't lie. They don't care about legacy, politics, or perception. They are what they are, and every time a beat reporter tweets out another eye-popping stat, the silence surrounding Shedeur feels less like caution and more like denial. And denial? It has an expiration date. If this kid keeps stacking 77% days, it won't matter how far down the depth chart you bury him. Truth finds daylight, and when it does, it incinerates every excuse. Now let's be fair. This isn't a knock on Joe Flacco. Shedeur Sanders has undeniably flashed moments of sheer brilliance, especially with his mobility and pinpoint accuracy, but he's also had instances of inconsistency as most rookies do. Meanwhile, Joe Flacco serves more as a seasoned safety net, a reliable veteran presence rather than a long-term solution. Dillon Gabriel, though raw, brings a high ceiling. His cannon-like arm and ability to extend plays off script make him a dark horse in this unfolding quarterback saga. What makes this even more compelling is how methodical and deliberate the Browns have been in their training camp strategy. The organization is investing valuable reps into Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel, a clear sign that they're evaluating every possibility. As for Sanders, he remains the wild card, a diamond in the rough with the potential to either ignite the league or require patient refinement. He's an unpolished gem who could either detonate with early stardom or be forged slowly under the NFL spotlight. But let's face it, NFL franchises today are shifting their mindset. No longer do they automatically redshirt their rookies. In this area of aggressive, offensive innovation, many teams are choosing to throw their young quarterbacks into the fire early. Just look at Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and even the younger crop like Bryce Young. Teams are betting on upside, trusting the talent even before it's fully seasoned. And the Browns, they're wrestling with that exact dilemma. When is the right time to unleash Shedeur Sanders? The fan base is split. Some argue Sanders needs time. He should be developed slowly, especially given the high stakes and high expectations of the NFL. The wild card they didn't pay for, but the one already threatening to rewrite their timeline. Too many reps with the ones. And suddenly the safe narrative unravels. Suddenly you've got a full-blown public relations dilemma on your hands. Because if Shedeur clicks with the starters like he did during OTAs, if he lights up practice again, then someone's getting traded or cut. And you can already hear the murmurs. Pickett possibly heading to Indy or New Orleans. Flacco's name? It's been floating on a few short lists too. Franchises hunting for a season bridge. If either one of them moves before week 1, we'll know exactly who forced that decision. Because eventually, merit rises. It always does, and Shedeur isn't just stacking good days, he's compiling undeniable evidence. Soon, the front office won't have a single corner left to hide in. Now, I saw something the other day that really lingered. Flacco and Shedeur, side by side. Veteran and rookie, mentor and student. Flacco telling war stories. Shedeur? Nodding, absorbing, learning. On the surface, it was wholesome, the kind of image coaches love to promote. But underneath, there's a philosophical fault line. Flacco is the embodiment of the old NFL, reserved, traditional, keep your head down, avoid disruption. His brand is that he doesn't have a brand. He even quipped, adults should have fun in private, when Shedeur teased him for dancing on camera. Translation, if you want to be respected, act like me. But Shedeur, he's the new NFL incarnate, streaming, merchandising, interacting with fans in real time. His generation watched Mahomes win championships and post TikToks. For them, authenticity isn't a bonus, it's the baseline. So when you place those two worldviews in the same quarterback room, the dog pound is erupting. The NFL world is watching like it's a primetime thriller, and Cleveland's quarterback saga, it's sizzling hotter than a tailgate grill in July. So let's unravel this electrifying rumor, decode what it means for our Browns, and get you fired up for the 2025 season. Grab your orange and brown. This one's going to have you barking all the way to kickoff. All right, Dog Pound, let's cut through the noise, because this update is downright earth-shaking. The Browns stunned the 2025 NFL Draft when they aggressively traded up in the 5th round to snatch Shedeur Sanders out of Colorado with the 144th overall pick. This wasn't just a draft move, it was grand larceny. Some analysts projected Sanders as first-round material, but he plummeted to day 3. The Browns didn't blink. They stormed in like a heat-seeking missile, securing a quarterback with top-tier potential. And now, the rumor mill is in overdrive with whispers that Sanders could shock the league by starting Week 1. A feat so rare that only a handful of QBs drafted in the 5th round or later have accomplished it since the 1967 merger. The most recent? Dak Prescott in 2016. The spark that ignited this frenzy? Live from Berea, where Sanders has been dominating OTAs and minicamp with the poise of a 10-year veteran. According to Mary Kay Cabot from Cleveland.com, Sanders is legitimately in the running for QB1, despite being listed 4th on the depth chart behind battle-tested Joe Flacco, redemption-seeking Kenny Pickett, and fellow rookie Dillon Gabriel. And here's the stat that'll make your jaw drop. The last time a quarterback drafted this late started Week 1 was Randy Hedberg, an 8th-round pick for the Bucs back in 1977. If Sanders is under center against the Bengals, he'll join an elite, almost mythical club. We're talking Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and a handful of promising newcomers. That's 5 quarterbacks battling for relevance, and with that level of depth, tough decisions are inevitable. The big question, where does Sanders fit in? Will he earn a spot during training camp, or could he be cut before he even takes a snap in preseason? Early reports suggest Sanders is locked in and plans to attend Browns training camp this July, a clear sign he's ready to compete and prove himself. But some analysts, like Chris Bombaka of USA Today, have voiced skepticism. With so many quarterbacks on the roster, it's possible the Browns may release Sanders before camp begins, especially if they believe he doesn't fit their system. But here's where it gets interesting. Shedeur Sanders is no ordinary rookie project. He has talent, he has upside, and that's something Cleveland cannot afford to overlook. Even if he doesn't start in 2025, his long-term potential makes him an asset worth developing, especially under a seasoned veteran like Watson. Let's not forget, quarterback uncertainty has haunted the Browns for years. Between injuries, inconsistent play, and high-stakes misfires, the team has struggled to find long-term stability at the position. Letting Sanders walk without a real opportunity could be a costly misstep. Yes, Deshaun Watson remains the starter, but his recovery from injury and off-field distractions leave the team needing a reliable insurance policy and maybe even a future franchise. Sanders could be that guy. Now, everything hinges on the Browns' internal evaluation. Will head coach Kevin Stefanski, known for developing young signal callers, give Sanders a legitimate chance? Stefanski helped shape Baker Mayfield early on. He could do the same here if Sanders flashes the right intangibles. Training camp and preseason will be pivotal. Flacco brings veteran wisdom. Pickett has starting experience. But Sanders, he brings star potential. And in a league where the unexpected becomes reality every Sunday, don't be surprised if Shedeur Sanders forces his way into the conversation. Veteran poise will likely secure the primary backup role, and Dillon Gabriel has shown encouraging flashes of potential. So if Shedeur Sanders wants to stand out, he'll have to grind relentlessly. And that's exactly what makes this storyline so captivating. Sanders isn't just hoping for a roster spot, he's battling to earn it. Quick pause. If you want YouTube to keep pushing the latest Browns news to your feed, hit that like button now. It's quick, it matters, and it keeps the momentum rolling. Thank you. Now back to the big reveal. What's truly fascinating is how Sanders is embracing the challenge. Despite limited reps with the Browns' first-team offense, he's maintained laser-sharp focus and a resilient mindset. In his interviews, Sanders has made it clear he's willing to do whatever it takes to secure a place on this roster. Whether that's stepping up in practice, showing quiet leadership, or being ready the moment his name is called. He's taken a mature, professional approach, acknowledging that the NFL is a business, and that true opportunity is seized through preparation and perseverance. And that mindset is crucial for any young player, especially one with a high-profile background like his. Now, zooming out to the bigger picture, the Browns are at a defining crossroads. They've invested heavily, both financially and emotionally, in Deshaun Watson, betting big that he's the long-awaited franchise quarterback. But the reality? Injuries and off-field controversies have cast a long shadow of uncertainty over that investment, which is why a dependable backup, or even a potential successor, becomes a vital piece of the puzzle. If Sanders can showcase the explosiveness and vision he demonstrated at Colorado, he could emerge as a true dark horse, a hidden gem in a quarterback battle most think is already settled. And let's not forget, this Browns coaching staff has a proven track record of developing talent. That developmental culture could be Sanders' greatest advantage, if he's granted a real opportunity. Now consider the landscape of the AFC North, arguably the most unforgiving division in football. Baltimore boasts the electrifying Lamar Jackson and a playoff-ready roster. Cincinnati is anchored by Joe Burrow and a stacked, opportunistic defense. Pittsburgh remains dangerous with a rock-solid defense and rising QB Kenny Pickett. In a division this competitive, even the smallest edge can tip the balance. Thank you guys. See you next video.